All right, everyone, thank you for stopping by. So in this video, I'll be showing the build that I use for Aurora in Predecessor. So like I say, for all the characters I make a build for in this game, there is several different variations or builds that you can use for every character in this game. This is just the build that I use personally for the off lane anyways. I'll make another video where I show what I would use for her for being in the jungle. But for right now, we're just going to be doing the off lane. So this video is not an off lane guide. I do have a video where I do have a guide for how to play off lane and some advice and tips that I give for that. But if you want to see that video, go to my channel and you'll find it there. Anyways, let's jump right into it. So the crest that I recommend is the Ocelot crest. So this crest is really good for characters who are magical damage focused. But there's an additional reason why I like to choose this crest. So every crest in the game gets upgraded by doing different challenges, by doing damage, by healing. But for this crest, it is upgraded by landing your attacks and abilities and also by getting kills. Once the crest is max leveled, you are able to choose an item to go along with the crest. The item that I suggest is called Tempest, and it's the one I'm being shown here. So when I'm playing Aurora, my playstyle is I will get my ultimate ready, and when I go in there, I'll use my ultimate, use this on top of my ultimate, and all the cards I get focus on doing damage to people that are just near you. So what your ultimate is with Aurora is you jump up in the air and you freeze everyone that is in a certain area, and they get frozen for a few seconds. So there's just a lot of time where they're sitting there unable to fight back. And once you get this card, you'll do damage to them. And what this card does is it shoots lightning bolts at up to three people, and it does damage to them. And the damage it does to them, it brings back to you and heals you that much damage. So all the cards I choose coming up are cards that build on this theory of freezing someone in the area and doing as much damage as I can while they're frozen. Like I said at the beginning, there's a lot of different playstyles that you can have for this character, but this is the playstyle that I like to use, and this build focuses on that, so I'm just letting you know now. So the first card that I get is Elefrost, and I like to get this card because Aurora really burns through mana really fast, especially early game, and once you get your ultimate, you pretty much can use your ultimate and then you don't have any more mana for the next while. So this might come as a surprise, but Aurora is considered a tank, and when you're selecting her, she is in the tank category. So what I like about this card is, for one, it adds physical armor and ability haste and a health boost. But the biggest thing I like about it early game is that it increases your base mana regen. Early game, having mana regen is really good to have. So when you're selecting the card and you need a first item, I'd grab the little blue crystal that I circled in the image first, because that will make it so you can stay out longer. And the longer that you're out in the field killing minions, the better it is for you, because when you're out there in your lane, you're getting experience as well as gold. And when you stop to go back to base because you ran out of mana, that is really a big time waster and you lose so much experience. And that's why it's so huge to get early damage to your counterpart that you're facing, because if you can send them back to base, that is time that they are not sitting there getting experience or getting gold, and it can be huge early game. So this next card that I choose is kind of unique. So there are 3 different types of lifesteal in this game. The first one is just lifesteal, which is physical damage that you do. It'll return 15% or whatever it is back to you. The second one is Omnivamp, and it will be both magical and physical damage. And then they have magical lifesteal. I say that it's unique because a lot of people will suggest that you get Omnivamp with Aurora. But the reason that I like to do magical lifesteal is because you get another 7% out of it, where the Omnivamp is only 8%. The magical lifesteal that comes from Lifebinder adds 50% magical lifesteal, and she focuses primarily on magical damage. The only attack that she has as physical is her sword, and I feel like you don't use that too much. And it's getting that extra 7% from your magical abilities, which is what you focus on, is so much more important, because you never buy, well, at least I don't buy cards that increase my physical power. So my sword damage isn't really that great, and I feel like that extra 7% is so much more beneficial to have. But the Lifebinder also adds a lot of magical power. Like a lot more than normal cards actually add. But another thing that I really like about it, the extra ability that it has on it for every 10% of your health that's missing, you will gain 3 magical power and 1 more percent magical life steal. So the lower your health is, the more damage you'll do and the more you'll life steal. And I just feel like that's just icing on the cake for this item. The third item that I recommend is called Flux Matrix. So this card is really good because it adds more magical armor and health and ability haste. But the extra abilities below are what make it really good. The first one is it makes your enemies that you are hitting take 10% additional magical damage, as well as reducing their tenacity by 20%. So in case you don't know what tenacity is, it's when you get stunned or frozen in this case. It makes it last longer or less depending on what the person's tenacity is. So what this card is saying is it reduces their tenacity by 20%. So when you use your ult, like I said for the crest, is when you use your ult on them and if you freeze them, it makes them frozen for a little bit longer. So that's really good for this technique that I use, the tactic that I use, like I said, by freezing them and doing as much damage as you can while they're frozen. This card is really good, and that's why I recommend getting it so early, like that, at least by the third card. The fourth card that I recommend is called Fire Blossom. The reason that I choose this card is because it adds additional health and armor. But the other thing I like about it is it adds damage to people that are just near you. So if you have an enemy that's just near you, they're just slowly taking damage over time. The additional ability for this card is the longer they're taking damage, the damage that they're taking goes up and up. So when you're like use your ult to freeze somebody there, they start taking damage, and the longer that they're there, you start doing more and more and more and more. And so it's just another one of those cards that add to that technique, that play style that I told you about, where you freeze them and you're trying to do as much damage to them before they come unfrozen and can start trying to run away. So the last card that I recommend is called Combustion. So this card adds a bunch of magical power and mana to you, but it also adds some magical penetration, which it can be good if you're late game once people start getting magical armor, because a lot of characters, they kind of focus on magical armor late game. So it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of that at least. But the big reason that I get this card is the additional ability. What the additional ability does is once you land an ability on someone, like your ult, for example, it makes it so your next abilities do an extra 15% damage. This can be really good once you have somebody frozen there and you're starting to unlaunch all the power that you have, all your abilities, you're throwing everything you got at them while they're frozen. And what I really like as well is the Aurora's E ability, as you just seen there, is she throws a circle of ice around her. And once you get the timing down, once you know they come unfrozen, I like to use that ability. And they usually try to dash, like this Grux, his dash is like he kind of slides. And their first instinct is when they get unfrozen and you've done a ton of damage to him is to get away from you. And he'll just use that ability and he'll get stuck in your ice and he'll get frozen even longer. And when they get stuck in that ice, it does a lot of damage to them. And if you have this combustion running, it does even more damage. So this is all just like a chain of stuff that goes together to make what I think is a really good tactic for fighting with her. And I don't know, I think it's fun to do as well. All right, well, that's the build that I use for Aurora. And in this clip I'm showing is an example of me using this strategy that I told you about. It's kind of botched because he is significantly more fed than me. I was struggling this game, but it shows that even if you're fighting someone who is doing better than you, this strategy actually can still work against them. And even though I messed it up a little bit, it still got him in the end, so that's all that really matters. Anyways, I hope this guide really helps you guys out. And if you have any more questions or any characters that you want to see me make builds on, let me know in the comments down below. And I'm making one for every character, but if you comment one that you want to see, I will move that person up on the list and do them sooner. Anyways, be sure to subscribe and like the video if you want to see more, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.